Hey there traders, if you're looking to boost your profits, today's tip will change the game. I'm going to reveal a powerful supply and demand sweep zone strategy. This simple technique can help you target stronger trading zones and make more consistent profits. So stick around and let's dive in. So let's talk about the sweep zone, what it's going to look like. And then we'll go later in the video, we'll go through some examples in the price chart. So make sure you keep watching so you don't miss exactly how to implement this. So a traditional way of looking at an area of supply and demand. Now we're going to go through a supply zone in this example, but you just do the opposite for demand. So we have a bearish trend in the market. We're looking for that swing pullback to be forming and creating a new lower high. Now we look for the break of structure to the downside, creates that new lower low. This is then going to create your area of supply where you look for that pullback into a supply zone where you're looking for your entry. Now this is all fine, but if we have more than one supply zone within that move down, what's going to be the best zone to trade from? Well, the sweep zone is always going to be the better zone to trade from. It's also going to be a much higher probability trade setup than just trading off any supply. So if you look at this next area we've got drawn out, we have the swing pullback this time. And as we make that pullback, we have a final drop and then a sweep of a high. Then we see the break of structure. This is always going to be the better pattern to look for when you're looking for that area of supply or demand. So the way we look at this is you're looking for a candlestick to wick through a previous high, taking that liquidity to sweep that area. Now we're going to go through on the pound Japanese yen current price, and I'll show you this actually happening right now in real market conditions. So you can see that this will work on any time frame, and it's working right now. So on the 4-hour time frame, the first thing you want to do is look back to see where we're reacting from. Now, if I go over here, we have this area of price. Let's zoom in on this current price. What do we have here on this move down? Well, again, we can identify that sweep move, and this is your sweep in the market. If I mark that off as a sweep, you're going to see where we create a break of structure with a continuation to the downside on this move, leaving a nice area here of supply. So we can mark this out as an area of supply. Let me just send this over to the right. Let's get the style, extend to the right. And when we go back to our current price, let's go back there now. We can now see where we've come into this area of supply. Here we have pushed through, but remember, this is a long way back in time, but it's reacting off this zone of supply, and it's a previous sweep zone. Now, when we see this reaction, we've got, as price pushes into this area, we have a break to the upside of structure, continuation to the upside, and then we reverse here to the downside, creating this current low in the market, which we class as our weak swing low. Now, before we do this, notice how we create this sweep in the market. And let's mark this off as a sweep. And that's going to leave this area here of potential supply. Now, this is going to be what we class as a supply zone. Find this internal supply. On a lower time frames, we'll see this much easier on lower time frame in a moment. But this is showing me where we have a drop out, a pullback, continuation. So we even have on this move down, we have this previous swing high of liquidity created, and we just remove this previous area of supply. We push down, leaving this high in the market, and we left this current area of supply. Now, all this is doing is when we see in the market pushing into supply, we drop out, make a higher low, we run the liquidity at the high of this zone, and it's going to be a better zone. Why here? Because it's that sweep zone in the market. Notice this is not sweeping a previous high like we see here. On a lower time frame, this is sweeping the previous high. You'll see on a lower time frame chart. But on this setup time frame, the 4-hour, which is important, we can identify that push to downside, versing structure, and then pulling back to run liquidity with this previous high into the supply above, which is our sweep zone of supply. Now you can either look to just trade this, enter off that zone, and look to run the weak low, or you can do what we class as that confirmation of the reversal out. How would we do the confirmation? Well, just like we're doing right now with this sweep zone, understanding how to look for that sweep zone, we can do the same for the confirmation. Now I'm going to teach you now as we go down lower into the smaller time frames of how we look at reading the market with a fractal structure. Understanding fractal structure, if you want more on this, then there is a full playlist in this channel that will teach you much more on how to identify fractal structure and how to read it. I'm not going to go into it too much in this video, but you'll see how it works in real conditions. If I just drop down now to the 30 or the 15-minute time frame here, we can look at, let me just go back to that 4 hour, and we'll place this internal supply here. We're going to place that now on a internal supply on a 15-minute time frame. And then when I drop down to a 15-minute, we're going to see that area of internal supply. So what we're concerned about here is this is going to be our week low in the market. We're looking to run as price pulls back into this area. We zoom in to price. We can start looking at our structure. Now I'm talking about fractal structure here, and it's not your traditional way of looking at structure. We have a break of this high. We then have a pullback, and we create a break of this high. Now this is a fractal structure continuation, and then we have a fractal reversal created right here in the market. And again, you'll understand all this if you watch that playlist after this video. And once we see this fractal reversal out, it's going to create this area of supply. Now this creates a fractal supply for us to sell from, and it's also going to create, if I mark this out for you, it creates that sweep zone of supply. Understanding our fractal structure, this is our reversal on a fractal structure, which creates this area of supply where you can then take an entry right here in the market, your stop goes above, and you can look to target either next area of fractal demand, or you can hold on for that low on the higher time frame. So you can see right now we have nearly just over 13 to 1 risk to reward on that trade, looking to run towards this week low on a 4-hour time frame. So you're coming out of a higher time frame internal supply, looking for that confirmation shifting out, which we create this fractal supply. And again, this is not using traditional structure here. It's using the fractal structure, and you can learn all that inside the channel and much more inside the Novice Pro Mastermind. When we go into this move in the market and we do break lower, you can see price actually comes back again to retest that area of fractal supply, and we continue to drop. But what about targets? Okay, if you're looking for targets, what do we look for? We look for, hey traders, we'll get back to the video in just a second, but listen up. Right now you can join my profit per trade workshop for just £49, normally $199. This workshop is packed with practical strategies on market structure and supply and demand, all designed to help you trade profitably, but hurry, only 30 spots are available each month. If you're serious about taking your trading to the next level, click the link in the description of this video or above now and secure your spot today. Let's get you onto the path to financial freedom. All right, let's get back to the video. Our fractal demand. Now I can identify for you areas of fractal demand. There is one here. Let's just mark this out. Now it's a fractal demand where we see the run of this high. So we pushed up, we pulled back, we ran that high. It then created this area of demand. We've pushed through this demand, and it's not a great demand to buy from. And the reason for this is it's not what? It's not a sweep zone of demand. So if we continue to go down, we create a new area of demand here as well that we can mark out. That's an area of demand which runs this high. In fact, let me just check. This is actually our valid demand, which runs that high. This is a area of demand which actually runs the high because this one fails. Let me just show you what happens. This area of demand which is created, and let's mark it out as a fractal demand, is not the demand zone which does in fact run this swing high. We failed to run this high of liquidity. We pull back, making this higher low, and then we run through this high. So this is my valid zone to trade from, understanding that it's the zone that broke the structure. Now we look for the next phase, which is it a sweep zone? If we look at what just happened, we have higher lows. It's not actually a sweep zone in the market. And if we just mark this across, you're going to see where we do in fact have a bounce up, and then we continue to break through that area. So we're looking for that high probability area where we could see a reversal from. So we're looking for a sweep. Now we do have, again, this is a break here to the upside. But if I go back in price for you here, a true breakout on this move down here we have in the market, let me just mark it off. This is in fact a fractal reversal for me. So it's where I see a reversal from a bearish move into bullish mode. So from that point in the market, then we've got, let me just check, we've then got this is my next area, so we don't break through. We're then looking for the continuation. This is then the continuation. So the only demand zones that we can actually look at here is in fact this zone here. And this is the one that breaks out. So this zone here. And then because this is then the area, we break out with this zone. And then we can only just mark out any origin zones, which is going to be right down here where we're looking to run that low. But when we start to understand our fractal structure in the market, this is my best looking zone that we can look to use, is where we see a sweep in the market. So as this is the zone which breaks this structure, this reverses this fractal structure, this became a sweep zone in the market. So if I'm looking for a target off this area of supply, my first target is always going to be that first sweep zone, which is this area here of fractal demand. So then I can look to take my first profit target of just over a 5-to-1 risk to reward at this area of fractal structure. It's the high probability zone where we could see a bounce from. Now we did in fact just run straight through this zone, but at the time it was the most highest probability area where we could see a bounce from for a major move away. Now we've removed this zone, you would now just simply looking to hold to this low. But how could we now use this information when we push through? Well, as we came down into, let me just see this zone here, you do have a smaller zone below. Now this is still a valid area. We do see a run through and a run to the upside, but it's not as good or clear of a signal as this sweep which forms here. Now this creates this area of demand, and yet again it is a push away. We do bounce off and see the market held at that move and we pushed away. Now look what happens as we come back up here. We make this lower high and we create a sweep. Remember the first sketch we went through, we're looking for that move. So this creates a sweep, and then from this high we break this area of demand, creating a flip zone for our area here of supply. And that's how we can start looking at where we're likely to see price pulling back to our next area of fractal supply. So we've removed this area of demand, which is a sweep zone. This is in fact a sweep zone as well, but it's more of a candle push through reversal. We bounced off, we swept this high, we broke down, leaving a new supply where we can now look for a pull back into to continue to run for this low down here. But it's understanding all of this that we got this information that this higher time frame is a sweep zone where we're looking for the market to pull back into. You can then use your confirmation, reading the areas of fractal structure here in this example, looking for the reversal out to look for your first target, okay, which you could have used as this area here or even this zone below. But this is the move. This is the area of demand which created the break or the reversal of this fractal structure. So this is the ideal zone to look for your first target. Then you can look to hold on for the 4-hour week low. This is going to make you much more profits in the market. It's going to be more higher probability trade setups and give you the confidence you need in your trading. And if you're ready to join that profit trade workshop, there's a link at the end of this video.